Felicitous greetings, fellow fanatics. Welcome back, one and all. I'm Fanatic, and today we're taking a look at Shrine's Legacy, a mana-inspired action RPG and Metroidvania by Level Up Games. Without any further ado, let's dive in. In Shrine's Legacy, players will take on the role of Rio Shrine and, soon thereafter, Rayma Nerone. Most of the game can be played via couch co-op, with one player controlling Rio and the other taking the role of Rayma. When playing single player, as I have, you can switch between them so long as the other character is conscious. If the character you're controlling falls unconscious, you'll automatically switch to the other. You'll have a basic short-range attack, and later in the game, you'll unlock a charge attack. Rio's creates a powerful radial shockwave, while Rayma shoots out 3 orbs of energy that, while individually weak, can be quite powerful if you use them at short range to hit a foe multiple times. As the game goes on, you'll also collect a series of elemental gems, starting with an ice gem that will freeze most enemies, but won't inherently harm them unless they're weak to ice. As the game continues, you'll gain access to 8 gems in total, with the first 4 giving you brand new abilities, and the second half enhancing those abilities. While combat feels very reminiscent of the Mana series, dungeons feel more Zelda inspired, with each having puzzles that will make use of the various abilities that you get from the gems, such as using fire to light torches, wind to create temporary bridges, or lightning to activate chain reactions. Magic is limited in quantity, though you will regenerate it when landing normal attacks against enemies. Puzzle rooms will often have mage statues that exist solely to pummel them and regenerate your magic meter. As you defeat enemies, you'll gain experience, leveling up your attack and defense stats in the process. You won't gain any HP or mana from leveling. You will come across red and yellow essences throughout the game. You'll get a good deal of these from defeating bosses, but you'll also be able to find it hidden in treasure chests throughout the game as well. With this, you can have the Alchemist Brew permanent buffs, including repeatable HP and MP boosts, as well as single-use enhancements such as the ability to perform diagonal dash attacks or talk to animals. On the subject of potions, there's also 4 bottles you can collect throughout the game to carry consumables which will grant temporary effects. These are generally pretty standard, such as healing effects, stat buffs, etc. You'll also find gems along the way. Each character begins with 4 gem slots, and again, you can find increases hidden in treasure chests. Whenever you're at a save point, you'll be able to swap your gems out, with each requiring 1 to 4 slots and having a wide variety of effects. Some of them are pretty interesting, but others I feel shouldn't be tied to the system at all. The minimap should not require special equipment, just include it regardless. There's also basic equipment upgrades throughout the game, but these are pretty rare, tied to specific parts of the plot, and also straightforward. You'll never make a choice between 2 different weapons of the same tier. Presentation-wise, the game is pretty solid. It does a great job of capturing that 16-bit feel of the SNES and GBA. In particular, character sprites remind me of Final Fantasy, especially when they're laughing, while character portraits have a Fire Emblem feel to them. There's a wide variety of different locales shown off, with unique art for each biome and the enemies within them. The sprite work is quite nice for the most part, but there are quite a number of layering issues at the moment. Story-wise, the game takes place in the land of Ardemia, where the demonic warlord Aklor has awakened after a centuries-long slumber. We begin with a short sequence of a robed figure opposing Aklor's forces before transitioning to Ural Village, where the story proper begins. Descended from the hero Kylie Shrine, who originally vanquished the otherworldly conqueror, Rio begins blissfully unaware of the impending danger as he spends time with his childhood friend Mala, who clearly he wants to be more than just a friend. However, when the Sword of Shrine is stolen, Rio rushes off to confront the thief. And now we come to the part of the review where we'll be discussing the plot. If you wish to avoid spoilers, please jump ahead to the time coordinates indicated on screen. Initiate temporal distortion now. Still with me? Then don't say I didn't warn you. This thief turns out to be none other than Rayma Nerone, likewise descended from a mage that initially aided Kylie. She had intended to seal away the sword and use it to fight Aklor herself, but it refuses to respond to her. Aklor attacks Ural in search of the sword, threatening Mala in the process. Rio briefly reveals himself, but Rayma convinces him to run as the sword is Aklor's true goal, luring him and his army away from the small town as they run into Calico Forest. From there, the pair of unlikely allies have to seek out the 8 elemental gems in order to restore the sword to full power. The first of which, the Ice Gem, is already in Rayma's possession. Only with the Sword of Shrine fully restored can they hope to match Aklor's otherworldly power. Much of the early game focuses on establishing characters that will be important later on. This includes Delane, the semi-senile alchemist that will be brewing your potions throughout your adventure.
You're insane, aren't you?
That's right.
Denji, the captain of a small vessel that will ferry you a few times on your journey, and the Hiroshi brothers, a trio of luchador bounty hunters that will often be competing with you to slay monsters. Ryo will occasionally write letters and send them to Mala, keeping her apprised of the pair's journey along the way. After acquiring 3 gemstones, they begin to make their way to the canyon town of Siltons, but along the way, they're attacked by Amoria, the man from the introductory sequence. They're no match for the rogue figure, but all the same, he retreats and allows them to continue onwards. Once in Stiltons, they come across a pair of Vulpex, named Thyden and Shelly, that agree to lead them through the canyon.
Canyon guide. Sounds informative.
Believe me, he's more than a tour guide.
Unfortunately, Aklor once more finds them, and this time takes Thyden captive. Shortly thereafter, he hypnotizes Thyden, using him to fight against the pair from atop the back of a giant moth. Though Ria and Rayma overcome the beast, Thyden steals away the gemstone it was guarding before retreating. They promise Shelly to do their best to get him back, though they're not really sure how. From there, they claim a 4th gemstone for the Sand Seas, then head to the capital of Galadine. There, they make acquaintance with the king and his daughter. Furthermore, Mala meets the pair there and advises them to rest at her uncle's place, a man who's been working on a very different kind of music.
I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet. But your kids are gonna love it.
From there, they make their way through the Moglor woods, after which they're ambushed by Thyden, who steals the Sword of Shrine. They give chase, but by the time they arrive, they see Aklor destroy the blade, and to add injury to insult, he summarily executes Thyden as well. Aklor doesn't kill the heroes, claiming that the blade was the only true threat to his rule, and he wants to see them suffer as he takes over their homeland. Broken, defeated, and enraged, Ryo blames Rayma for everything that's happened, to which Rayma says she actually blames herself as well, revealing that Aklor only began his second attempt to conquer Ardemia after she used an ice gem to quell a fire that her younger sister, Adrene, had started. This led Aklor to Felinor, the city of mages where Rayma and Adrene resided. Aklor killed her sister in front of her, and it was then that Rayma resolved to seek out the blade and the gemstone so she could confront Aklor herself. Ryo apologizes for taking his anger out on her, and then hears a strange voice calling to him. The pair make their way to an ancient ruin where what I assume is the ghost of Kylie gives them the last of the ore used to make the Sword of Shrine. With that, they return to Galadine to reforge the blade, then add the wind gem that Thyden had to the growing collection. Shortly thereafter, Amoria challenges them again. From there, they push on to Valorn Palace to grab the 6th gem, then on to Hendren Marsh to grab the 7th. It's there that they find that, for once, the Hiroshi brothers have actually managed to beat them to a punch and have taken down a monster. The brothers challenge the pair to a ringside match, but upon defeat, they give up the gem and Ryo and Rayma continue northward to Felinor, Rayma's hometown. As they near the city, they're once again interrupted by Aklor, who reveals that Adrene is not actually dead, but instead being controlled by him like Thyden was. However, a group of mages from Felinor intervene and drive them back. It's there that Ryo meets Simon, the mayor of Felinor, who also raised Rayma and Adrene after their grandfather died. But all the same, they need to make their way to the mountains in the northeast to seek out the final gem. They eventually reach the summit of the mountains that oversee the desolate valley, where a powerful ice golem awaits them, but the creature doesn't have the gem. They bravely return to Ural to ask Ryo's mother if she knows anything, which eventually leads them to a hidden cavern where they finally acquire the 8th and final gem. While there, you'll come across a small cameo of Copy from the girl from Arcania. From there, they push on to the desolate valley, with several of their allies showing up to aid them against Aklor's army, clearing the way to his fortress. Amoria bars their path, challenging them one last time. This time, they managed to overcome him in full, though he's still tight-lipped about any information. From here, you can make your way to Aklor's inner sanctum and start the final series of battles. If you do nothing more, they'll begin by battling Adrene, and Rayma will be forced to kill her own sister. However, if you visit Shelly, you'll find that she was researching a way to undo Aklor's mind control, and came across details about an artifact called Yathera's Amulet. It's divided into 3 shards, which require you to revisit earlier dungeons, 2 of which include new sections that are effectively dungeons unto themselves. It actually adds a fair bit of content to the game. If you manage to restore the amulet, Rayma will instead place it on her sister, restoring her to her senses. Either way, you'll have to move on to confront Aklor, but shortly into the battle, Aklor banishes Ryo to some sort of rift between dimensions. After what seems like endless wandering, he eventually finds a portal that brings him back to Felinor. where he takes up a familiar cloak and blade and dons the name of Emoria. Surprise, you're actually playing a flashback. Emoria is Rio from another timeline that failed to defeat Aklor, and this is actually part of the opening sequence we see him in at the beginning of the game. Time travel isn't hinted at anywhere else in the game, and this sequence not only feels like a poor fit for the story, but also really kills the pacing for the final battle. Regardless, Emoria finds a portal to take him back to the past. From there, he trains Rio and Rema so that they'll be stronger than he was when he faced Aklor. You restart the final battle, this time playing it out in full. Rio drives Aklor back into the dimensional portal, but not wanting this to happen again as it did when Kylie banished Aklor, Emoria takes the Sword of Shrine and follows Aklor into the dimensional rift to finish him once and for all. With the timelines converging, Rio and Rema rapidly lose their memories of Emoria, but they're able to return to their respective homes. Adrienne welcomes her sister back to Felnor, while Rio is hailed by Mala and his mother, all happy to be able to enjoy a bit of peace after a long adventure. Welcome back, Chrononauts. You're just in time to join us for the conclusion. All in all, Shrine's Legacy is an enjoyable throwback to classic JRPGs and Metroidvanias. I spoke of how Golden Sun felt almost like a Metroidvania, but the turn-based battles precluded it from being such. Shrine's Legacy, on the other hand, fits solidly within the framework of the genre. As it stands now, it does feel a little unfinished. It's fairly buggy at the moment, though I was able to finish the game. The devs have been very active with the community on Steam to find and fix those bugs. The action is solid, there's plenty of collectibles to find, and while the plot is lackluster at times, it does have a pretty good sense of humor. And finally, I should briefly mention that they are planning to add a post-game dungeon as free DLC. Such details may change my score later, but for now, I find Shrine's Legacy to be really a solid 7.3 out of 10. Shrine's Legacy is currently available for PC via Steam. If you're interested in purchasing or learning more, links are included in the description. But what about you? What do you think of Shrine's Legacy? What action RPGs do you enjoy? If you have any questions, remarks, or opposing points of view, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. If you really enjoy my work, please consider funding my channel on Patreon. Until next time, farewell, fellow Fanatics. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.